Hi everyone and welcome back. Today I wanted to spend some time talking about Tales of Vesperia Definitive Edition. For those of you familiar with this game, you'll know I'm insanely late to the party with this title. This title was released early January this year, but I've only managed to find the chance to play it recently. Tales of Vesperia Definitive Edition is a remastered version of Tales of Vesperia, which was released outside of Japan on Xbox 360 way back in 2008. Tales of Vesperia is a JRPG hailing from the long line of Tales of titles produced by Namco. It uses gameplay called Linear Motion Battle System, in which a party of 4 move freely backwards or forwards, inputting real-time action commands in order to defeat multiple enemies. You control one of 4 people to use basic attacks, special moves which are called arts, and numerous other tactics to beat your opponent and progress through the story. I was a really big fan of the game back in the day, and still am a huge fan of the series. It was heartbreaking to know that in the late 2009, Japan would get a PS3 port of this game, with 2 extra playable characters, and a truckload of side quests and content that we didn't get originally. Then, lo and behold, during a Nintendo Direct last year, we get wind of a remastered version of this PS3 port, which was finally travelling overseas. This remaster is now available on all the latest gen consoles and on PC. And honestly, the game still holds up really well in my eyes. The story focuses on a man named Yuri Lowell, who stumbles into numerous scenarios, forcing him to take a journey across the world, meeting new and interesting party members. As far as the Tales of mainline games go, this was and still is probably one of my favourites. Most games from this franchise follow a naive young main character who grows throughout the game. Vesperia mixes that up a little bit by introducing a sharp-witted and relatively experienced main character who isn't making painfully poor decisions or doesn't know how to handle himself around others. To be honest, the whole cast do well to shrug off a lot of those JRPG tropes, and it makes it feel a bit more welcoming to Western audiences.
Wait, we can't just leave the door like that.
I really don't think this is the time to worry about something like that.
This can be a very cutscene heavy game, which then forces you to travel and encounter roaming enemies through dungeons and the world map, which will then in turn take you to a separate battle set where most of the action takes place. I don't want to review the game itself, but talk more about the specific port/remaster that Western audiences never had a chance to play before. The port itself is packed with added content to what was already a wealthy game. This remaster contains added story content, bolstered thanks to 2 extra playable characters that join the team. Well, maybe 1.5. I do remember Flynn being playable for parts of the old game, but not fully, which always felt like a bit of a tease for me, and it's nice to see that he's playable towards the latter half of the game, and even becomes a permanent party member by the end of it. The other new teammate, Patty, makes for a great addition with some unique and enjoyable combat mechanics. A lot of her moves are RNG based, with enough visual and combat difference to make it fun to see what the result will be each time. Aside from the added story content, there's also added side quests, mini-games, bosses, costumes, combat moves, and all cutscenes are now fully voiced. Players are able to play the game in both English dub or Japanese sub, with all the DLC content included in the base game this time for no extra charge. As far as JRPGs go, this one in my opinion is up there for consistency in its entertainment, longevity and polish throughout the whole game. I'm somewhat near completion of the whole game, and my playtime is racking up to well over 60 hours on one save file, with my need to complete each possible side quest, as this usually provides me with special equipment or aesthetics that you can't find elsewhere, or for some enjoyable interactions between characters you wouldn't normally see. I got the game on Nintendo Switch, and I believe if your Switch is docked, it will display at 1080p, running 60 frames per second in the battles and 30 frames per second in all other situations. Playing on the Switch undocked will drop it down to 720p. I'm told that the PS4 version runs 60 frames per second throughout, and the cel-shaded visuals look great in the higher resolutions on these bigger screens. My one jarring issue with this release would be the extra voice acting that's added to this game. Understandably, it's been 10 years since the original, so it may be hard to get previous voice actors to come reprise their roles. And I do feel that they got the best replacements they can, but there will be scenes where the new voice actors follow on from sentences that were done by older voice actors, and it's kind of where it becomes apparent and a bit off.
Well, Raven, it's been lovely seeing you again. Now buzz off.
Aw, come on. You're trying to get into the palace, right?
Isn't there something else you should be saying?
Something else?
Well, they say the deceived have better memories than the deceivers, don't they?
Someone somewhere didn't make sure to check if the new audio added to this game matched the sound levels of the old, which means that you'll find some scenes and dialogue much quieter than anything else. Surprisingly, it's also poorer in quality. Noticeably, when there's ever any S's in the sentence, it comes out with a sharp, hissing noise, as if the audio file just isn't high enough quality. But that's my only gripe with this game, to be honest. The animation looks a bit stale, but I think it's part of its charm. I think it holds up as a great JRPG game today, and there's plenty in here to keep you engrossed until the very end. I'm also seeing some good deals pop up for this game across all of the platforms, so if you see the opportunity to pick this one up for cheap, I'd 100% recommend doing so if you're a JRPG fan. Even at the full price, I think it's a justifiable purchase if you're a fan of the genre. But I know this has been out for a while already, so let me know if you managed to pick this one up. What's your thoughts on it? I know that Tales of Arise, which is the latest Tales game to come out in the franchise, is due to come out early next year, and I think this is a nice stopgap until it's released. And as always, stay tuned for more reviews on movies, animes, and video games. Until next time guys, take care, bye bye.